So I wanted to say a little bit more about living forgiving and how we came up with this idea. It comes from our approach to well-being that we call sublime living. And the idea of sublime living is that every one of us, our natural state is to live sublimely. And I say natural because it's the natural, what we're born with, that capacity, that compelling possibility to feel fully alive, to be 100% ourselves, not trying to be what we think we should be or what somebody else thinks we should be, particularly our parents maybe, or our peers, but what we truly want, what makes our heart sing? What is it that we really feel we can do to be happy and fulfilled in this life? And if we're not using that knowledge, if we're not really taking advantage of that skill, that belief, or that passion, or that possibility, then we're never going to feel fulfilled. So living forgiving, as I said, is a bit like the breath. If you think about it, if you maybe do this with me now as I'm saying it, when you inhale, you need it. It's not something that you have to think about. It's completely automatic. It doesn't require you to be involved in that breath. But what it does is it beautifully takes care of all the systems of the body. As long as you're getting enough sleep and you're drinking enough water and you've got a basically good diet and all the other fundamentals of the human lifestyle, when you take that in breath, it provides the body with the all-important oxygen. And that floods the system with that life-giving property, oxygen. It also, at a more subliminal level, is the life force. So the life force is what literally animates us. It's what allows this brain to function. It's what allows all of the systems of the body to function. So this is the natural thing, the natural process of the in-breath. But of course there is a second element to that, which is the out-breath. And as we exhale, we release all that we don't need. So we're actually releasing toxins and tension and tiredness. And this is particularly important in the morning, which is why very often yoga and pranayama and these techniques of yoga are used early in the morning, because we've released all these toxins overnight and they can be released more fully through the breath. Most of the toxins are released through the breath. So there's a beautiful metaphor with this inhalation and this exhalation. And it's about achieving the natural state of what it is to be a human being, as opposed to what I might call the normal state. And the normal state is that one that's been kind of conditioned into us. It's been programmed into us, because of our parents, because of our peers, because of the way society functions. It kind of naturally reverts to a default setting of everybody being a bit the same, having similar thoughts, similar ideas, the same notion of go to work at 9, come back at 5 or 6, have a couple of hobbies here and there. And it's a very kind of one-dimensional view of life. So our perspective is that you can be much more alive than this. You can feel way more vibrant. And you start to really get in touch with what makes you come alive, what makes your heart sing. Maybe you're a beautiful singer, but you lack confidence. Maybe you love to play the guitar, but you have never given really much time to it. Maybe you love to drive a car fast and you'd love to be a rally driver. Maybe like me, you had a passion for sharing your love of relaxation. And for me, my way of doing that was yoga and meditation, expressing that for people here at Ashiana. So whatever it is that's your thing, and everybody's got a thing. Everybody's got their thing. If you can get in touch with that and you can create a life around that thing that makes you come alive, two beautiful things happen. First of all, you come alive and you feel great and you're fulfilled. And a fulfilling life is not that you get to the end of the life and you think, yeah, that was really fulfilling. It's right here now in this moment. It's come alive now. Because if you feel fulfilled in this moment, there's a good chance you're going to feel great in the next moment. And so it's kind of joining the dots of that ever-long quest to be feeling alive. But the second thing is that if you come alive, what do you think happens to the people around you? It's very, very contagious, whether you're feeling positive or negative. This is proven, it's borne out by science endlessly today. Quantum mechanics understands and is proving that all is one. What the ancient mystics and the sages told us for millennia, that all is one. Dr. James Lovelock, the great British scientist, had talked about this beautifully in terms of the Gaia theory, the Gaia principle, that the Earth is this huge, beautiful kind of organic mass that's moving and ever evolving, but each part affects another part. And we know this in anatomy and physiology, all the work that's done into fascia. The understanding that if we have an issue here in our ankle, that it's going to affect the knee, and it's going to affect the hip, and it's going to go right up the body and very possibly affect the neck. So we understand now, it's pretty much accepted in scientific, normal science now, that everything affects everything else. So if you come alive and you feel well, you will affect all those people around you. And this is the idea of the projects that we're creating in the giving section. We can support things which are on the other side of the planet. We can support things that we feel very empowered to support, which might be happening in India, even though we live in the UK. But what we would love is that you really climb on board, getting in touch with what you feel needs to be done in your area. There's so many issues in the so-called developing world. We like to talk about the third world, or now politically more correct is to say the developing world. But I live in the developing world, in India, in Goa, and I also spend a lot of time in Brazil, in the so-called developing world of South America. And I can tell you that very often I find those people to be a lot more happy, naturally happy, less affected by the norm of programming and the way we get kind of sometimes beaten into submission. The Brazilians want to dance and sing. That's their default setting. The Indians, these kids in the poor, underprivileged areas of India, as long as they're not starving, they smile, they're happy. They love to meet you as a foreigner, not because they look up to you, but because they're just happy. That's their default setting. So I really encourage you to think about projects in your area. Think about the old people that need help. Think about the people that are kind of falling off the social scale, that don't have enough money, don't maybe have the good fortune to have the education that you and I have. Maybe there's so many different things that you can come up with. And please, what we'd really love is that you support us with your ideas. We want to have a conversation. We want to get live online talking about those things that we can do to help others. And it's a circular thing, because yes, you do need to feel well to an extent to want to give. But when you give, you feel great. And so it is circular. One feeds the other. This is why it's living for giving, for living, for giving, for living. It's endless, that circle. So again, I say thank you for taking the time to listen to me. And please support us, engage with us. Let us know your ideas. Please support us financially. All the information is below here, as I said earlier on. You don't have to offer a lot. We're not asking for people to give hundreds or thousands. If you can, that's great. But maybe you give £5 or £10, And we've got some beautiful gifts, rewards that we're going to offer you, which I think are great. Trina was telling me about them earlier on, one of the team members. So please, your support. Namaste.